This meeting is being recorded.
Shree Maathrey Namaha. Shrikanto Matlo Sijanni Sarvamangalajan Kaha Shankaro Mahadevaha Tvam Vande Gajananam. Shivashaktya Yadi Bhavata Chakta Pravitam Nachedevam Devo Nakalu Kushala Spanditumapi Atastvamaradhyam Harihara Virinchadi Birpi Pranantum Stotum Va Kadamakuta Punya Prabhati. Today, with the divine blessings of our divine parents, we will make an attempt to discuss and understand another powerful story from the life of Sombari Mahatma. In Sombari Baba's life, once a British soldier who reached out to Baba and asked Baba some personal time, and Baba has been pushing out because of his busy schedules, and the British soldier always wanted to talk to Baba in the evening times after the duty hours. So after 3 failed attempts, the soldier on one morning asked Babaji on why the soldier is not getting the requested time, which would be helpful to him to sort himself for the better and spiritual upliftment in the life. Baba smiled through a mediator and told him that evening is a time where Baba gets to share the knowledge and wisdom with the Siddhashrama Mahatmas who descend down in his ashram, and therefore Baba can never give time in the evening part of the day or the night. If the soldier is really interested, he should make himself available anytime before 5 p.m. of any day, and he would get time from Baba. So the next day, the soldier immediately made himself available and appeared in front of Baba, asking him a very profound question. The British soldier asked Baba that I was born in a country very far from this place that the world reveres as the prayer room of the world, as the great Bharata, the land where Vedas are born. Now, after coming onto this country, I started realizing that the addiction that I have for the 3 W's, world, wine, and women, is something that I need to get rid of, and get rid of it in a way where I will no longer have an attachment or longing towards these worldly pleasures. Therefore, O Mahatma, Sombari Baba, please give me a rescue out of this. And Baba smiled and said, do come over for one of the Monday Prasada Vitarana, the distribution of Prasada that happens on every Monday, which is offered to the god and then is distributed amongst all the deserving. And the soldier took permission from Babaji and went back to join his duties. After a couple of months rolled by, this very soldier took a day off on a Monday and came to Sombari Baba's ashram and ate the prasadam. After eating the food that Baba himself would cook on every Monday, the soldier came to Baba and did Sastanga Namaskaram or prostration by falling on the ground. And Baba then said, the secret in controlling world, wine, and women is to follow the Ra Raja Bhakta. And the soldier did not understand. So he turned to the mediator and tried pronouncing what is Ra Raja Bhakta. Then Baba smiled and said, first Ra essentially means Rama. Remembering this body is going to go through the cycle of birth and death. Ra is the Agni Bijam and Ma is the Amrita Bijam. Means Agni Bijam is one that will burn up this body one or another day and turn it to ashes. Ma is the Amrita Bijam, which will essentially bring back life in a different form, factor, or a body. So remember, this body is going to go through cyclical death and birth. Therefore, get closer to Rama, the divine. And when you get closer to the Rama, then the cycle of death of this body will be done with. This is also the reason why when the dead bodies are carried, they say Ram Nam Satya Hai, meaning the cycle of death and birth is the only eternity, and that's the only truth. Oh, Jiva, or the soul that departed the body, wake up at least in the next life in order to make the best use of the body that you're going to get. That is the first Ra in Ra Raja Bhakta. Then he asked, what is Raja? Raja is the Raja Yoga, essentially knowing to meditate on who am I. Most of the time we are interested in knowing who are you by asking others, but ask the same question of yourself and asking who am I. And when you are trying to go to the root of finding out who am I, you will understand that you are a pure awareness that is experiencing a lot of emotions, and therefore going through Raja Yoga, which is the yoga of meditation, is extremely important. And these are the Ra Raja. Then what does Bhakta? You said you are intoxicated to wine. You should start getting intoxicated towards the divine, and that shift from wine to divine is nothing but the Bhakti Yoga, when you are intoxicated by the Paramatma or the Supreme Conscious that we call God. Just like the leaves of a tree, every leaf or a couple of leaves of a tree, all of them look very unique. All of them have their own identity, and all the leaves are alive because they are connected to the branches and to the stem and the trunk of the tree. Similarly, that supreme conscious devotion to the divine led for the divine to take many avatars, just like there are many leaves that almost look the same, but if you look at those leaves with focus, each and every leaf has a different print. The way when you bring two leaves together, you'll find many differences to your naked eye. Similarly, like many devotees who have prayed to the divine to take different forms, the divine has descended down in infinite avatars to fulfill the devotee's desire. This is the Bhakti Yoga. You mentioned about world and women. The way to deal with them is following the karma philosophy. When one follows the karma philosophy of doing their duty as devotion, work as worship, therefore, when you look at a woman, you will realize, you will start seeing the divine mother or your own biological mother in them. And therefore, the control of emotions of lust typically will be contained and controlled. This is the Ra Raja Bhakta Marga of following, keeping the Lord, the divine in the center, and realizing that this body and the bodily pleasures will not help me go any further. Therefore, realizing the Sri Rama in the center and recalling the Rama Tattvam of the cycle of death and birth. Because without a beginning, there is no end, and without an end, there's no beginning. The Raja Yoga essentially talks about going inward using the very powerful tool of transformation of meditation or dhyana. The Bhakti Yoga talks about intoxication towards the divine, therefore becoming completely intoxicated towards the divine and walking away from the intoxication of the worldly wine. And women essentially are always looked at with an element of lust. And if you are struggling with that, look at what can take you beyond lust, because lust is the journey to the destination of single pointed meditation and samadhi. That is what you get when there is a union of two bodies, when there is a union of your Atma with the divine Paramatma, the Nirvikalpa Samadhi that you get, and the intoxication and the pleasure you get in by getting into the Samadhi is something that needs to be experienced and cannot be explained. And those words of transformation turned this British soldier into a saint who had a passion for photography. And the photographs of Sombari Baba that we see today are the ones that are captured by this British soldier. Baba gave a boon to this British soldier who had a passion of making the roti equivalent pizzas and has another passion of taking photos. And he would always say, Ram, Ram, Ram. And this British soldier would tell Baba on why is that in the Varanasi, everybody keeps chanting Ram Nam Satya Hai. So Baba gave a boon to this British soldier that he will be born in the country where pizzas are extremely famous, to fulfill his desire to make pizzas and eat pizzas to his heart's content. And then he will come over to India and as a photographer and will become a saint in Varanasi. This is the same saint who goes by the name of Shiva Baba, who came to India when he was in his mid 20s and stayed back in the very powerful Nagaram of Varanasi until very recently. And I will try to get a picture of this Siva Baba and post in the description. This is the story of that British soldier with a passion to make roti like pastas for Baba. And he is the one who captured the pictures of Sombari Baba that are accessible and available to us today, who reached the Kasi Viswanatha, becoming one very recently. If I remember the year 2020, I think Shiva Baba became one with Kasi Viswanatha. This is the story of a British soldier who walked away from world, wine, and women in the previous Janma and then was born again because of his desire in the country of Italy, eating pizzas and then coming down to the Vedabhumi Bharata and becoming a sadhu and becoming one with Kasi Vishwanatha. This is a story that I directly learned from my Guru Bhais, who spent time with this very saint. And the story of Shiva Baba before in his previous life as a British soldier was also discussed many times by my Guruji Devra Baba. Stay blessed, spread the bliss around. Shree Maathrey Namaha.